obviously a big win last week at Washington State, a game where you got up big and then fell down by 5 or 7 down the stretch, then came back and won. Obviously, I'm sure a relief to get out of that with a win and the way Barry played down the stretch for you guys.
Yeah, it was good. I think the biggest thing, we got down 8. Actually.
Yeah.
So we got down 8.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Then, it's one of those deals where we give them a lot of freedom, and sometimes when you do that, at certain points in the game, each one of our core guys try to do something.
Right.
And when you try to do something, instead of let it just flow to you and let it happen naturally, we take bad shots, we miss people who are open.
Right.
You just force the issue, and we got caught up with that. And that's how we got down. And we stopped guarding. I'm plain and simple. But once we got down 8 and timeout and refocused, and we got their attention, and they had their listening ears on a little bit better, they took over. Very special down the stretch. Defensively, we did some really good things, confused them, and changed up some things, just an adjustment to make Flynn shoot even further out, and he took the bait and did it, and it helped us. So we got to give credit to our guys for hanging in there, fighting and competing.
So you guys went, I think it was a 10-0 stretch down there in the last couple of minutes. A different scenario, of course, in the end of the Tulsa game. I know you said they put their listening ears on, but you guys say anything different? Did the players say anything different? Was it a different feeling? I remember talking about the Tulsa that you guys still felt good, that you were going to be fine the last few minutes, but was anything different in that last game?
The biggest difference is Barry. Arizona State, he's going crazy in the huddles. Vanderbilt, he's going crazy in the huddles. Last night, going crazy in the huddles. Tulsa, not so much. Nobody was saying anything.
Right.
It was the shell shock of not making shots, and we were very immature at that point. And then we didn't make shots yesterday. We made some timely ones, we made a lot of layups. But I think the difference is when we're engaged, and when he's engaged in the huddles, it makes us better. So, when he wasn't engaged in the huddle to get us energy, there was a time I just kept screaming energy at him. That's all, energy. And that was the point where we go on a 10-0 run. Just energy. Like, we need energy right now. And, Barry took it over from there and got up. And if you watch the video, he stood up and smacked everybody's hand on the damn team in the timeout. We're like, sit down and listen to what we're trying to do. He just gave everybody 5 and sit down and took it over. So you got to give him credit. He had a special night. And, when you got older guys that can do those type of things. Because he said in the interview, we've lost those games when we were younger. When we were freshmen, even sophomores. We lost some of those games where we should have won, and we couldn't hold on, and we couldn't find the grit to get it done.
Now, a guy that I sit behind my keyboard and have started to talk about perhaps losing the spot would be, McCall Moween. And then last night, against Washington State and even against South Missouri State, he had really solid games. What's clicked with him in the last couple of games?
I think, players develop. We're continuously coaching him. I think you can get caught up and say, get mad at guys and bury them, or you can coach them.
Right.
And we've coached Mac really, really hard, and he hasn't liked it, but the results are showing when he understands what he's supposed to do, he's pretty good.
Right.
When he struggles to figure stuff out, he's a liability for us. So, we had a short bench rotation with the bigs. We really only played him and Dean exclusively. Played Mal a little bit. Didn't play either freshmen, and we just felt it was too big of a game, fast of a game for those guys. And we slid X down a lot and played a mod at the 4 too. So just because they're so up tempo.
I was going to ask about Ahmad too. He had some foul trouble, but other than that, played pretty well and is active again. How far have those two come? You're 12 games in now. Ahmad and Mac transfer now. How much better are they now than they were 12 games ago?
I mean, they're clearly. There's a bigger trust factor for Coach Weber, with them. I think when you're new and you're a JUCO especially, they're always second semester guys or second year guys. When you see the results and the positivity of what you teach, of what you've taught them, and. We've coached Ahmad really hard, and we've coached Mac really hard. We need to catch up quick, and I think they're going to have great finishes second half for them. Anytime you get a juke to have success in that first semester, it's a huge, huge plus. Because sometimes they get caught up with not learning quick enough, and you need Christmas break to get them where they need to get, and they seem to get there pretty quick.
That was my next question. Is now you do have this stretch where I think more or less 8 days, 9 days, something like that between games. What do you do with this time frame? Do you spend more of the time getting ready for Iowa State and Texas Tech and that kind of thing, or is it more of a big picture, development mini camp type?
I mean, it's a mini camp to start. Obviously first day back, and we'll do some Christmas night, and then that 26 is really going to be a hard, practice, weights, really get after it. Probably watch a little film on Washington State to see what we need to do to tune up, get better, show good plays, show good, good teamwork stuff, show stuff, but you got to show them.
Right.
That's the key with anything. Sometimes good players, when they watch themselves on TV or they tape themselves, they only fast forward to their makes
Absolutely.
or their misses.
Yeah.
They don't really watch the game. And we make them watch their time in the game, their whole time. So it helps them to understand what they're doing.
So you're 10-2. Obviously, the 2 losses, the one about Tulsa we talked a lot about, that you were frustrated with. Lost to an Arizona State team that's as good as anybody in the country right now. Looking at the whole so far, the non-conference, are you happy with where the team is? Not happy? Does I get further along? What the overall thoughts on where the team stands going into Big 12 play?
Well, you always want to be undefeated.
Right.
And if not undefeated, we feel if we, had one loss at this point, we'd be ranked.
Right. Probably.
And that's the reality of it. But I think, losses build character, man.
Yeah.
And to learn stuff, how our guys are learning, is better now than down the road. And you can say, well, our schedule's not as good as other people's, but we've already got 2 road wins.
Right.
So there's people that haven't played on the road yet. They played neutral sites and at home.
Yep.
So now you have to really go to somebody's place now. So, you can say, yeah, we played a good team here, we played a good team there, but you haven't played anybody in their own building.
Right.
And that stuff's important too. Going to Vanderbilt and winning the same way we won against Washington State builds character for our guys. Because when you can navigate and play and make plays in tight games, it builds for the future. So if you've aggressively done that and then learn how to put people away, it helps your team become better.
And you are going to go, obviously, on the road to start Big 12 play. I'm sure you'd much rather start it at home, but how big of an opportunity is it to go and try to steal it on the road right away against an Iowa State team that's playing well? But you do have some confidence now winning a couple on the road. How big of a chance is that for you guys?
I mean, it's the start of the league, so
right.
We're excited. Obviously, we're looking forward to playing people, on our league. And, we've watched just like they've watched. And, I think when you look at, we got 4 guys in double figures, and sometimes when you have good players, people say, well, why can't they always play well together?
Right.
It's not. How many teams have all their really good players play all really well all at one time, several games? It's just unrealistic because sometimes matchups dictate. Sometimes they're going to take somebody away. Like we completely took Franks out of the game.
Didn't do anything, yeah.
So that's something we did. It's not something that we forced him to make plays off the bounce. We took away his 3-point shots. He's 46%.
Yep.
So if he gets his average, then that's a different game. So
Absolutely.
We did something different to them. And that's kind of how you look at it. Everybody's going to the game with different game plans. If we can take this person out of the game, then we feel we can have success. And they do the same thing with us.
And your guys, we call them, the core 4 with, Barry and X and Cam.
Oh, we do too.
Good. Yeah. So, and do they understand that too? I'm sure they all want to get theirs, but can they understand if a team has game plan to take Dean out? That they're going to have to adjust their rules and have different guys take over?
I think we've done that.
Yeah.
So in every game, we've had different heroes, different stars. The closest for all of us playing well was probably Vanderbilt.
Right.
And if X doesn't foul out against Arizona State, we think we win.
Of course, yeah.
And that's one of those deals where that's something you can't control. But we've had games where, think about Levi was such a factor in Vanderbilt.
Yep.
He's a kid who's barely playing.
Yep.
And that's, you got to have different guys step up within a season to save you sometimes. He did that then. And you look what Mac did last night. You see his progression. You see Ahmad's 9 rebounds last game against SEMO.
Yeah.
His progression. So we're not trying to manipulate and make sure that those only 4 get better. But you can see who's slowly getting better for us, and it's the other guys.
Absolutely.
And that's the guys that we are really coaching up and really trying to figure out ways to motivate them.
there is a lot of familiarity in this league, but Iowa State is one team who, at least to me, has turned over the roster quite a bit. It's really early. I know we're 10 days out of playing them, but what are your initial thoughts on those guys?
I think they're good. I think Babs obviously is transformed into something else.
Yep.
You know, the biggest thing is, you know, those dudes had some elite shooters for 3 years, and it's not that way anymore. They're a different basketball club, and you know they know that. They've had some big wins, and so our thing is we can't wait to play people, man, because I don't think people understand how good we are, and I think the league knows, and we all know we're all out recruiting, and guys, we talk to each other, and they're like, man, you guys are playing well. We're talking about each other. We're talking about who they play, who we play, and you know, people know what we have.
Yep.
And when people talk to you about what you have, you know you got something. If we were some also-rans, you know, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, because we have mismatch problems. We have guys who can guard, we have guys who can score, and if our core four is on, or even all of them average, we still got a chance to beat you.
Right. We've talked a lot about, you know, on this and then off the air too, about the league, you know, and how Kansas has dominated it, you know, for I don't even know how many years, you know, 13, but now, I mean, you look at this. You have, I think there's 6 teams ranked, 7 who are almost ranked. You guys were almost ranked. So 8 teams, you know, have at least been ranked or been close. The other 2 are Iowa State and Oklahoma State, who are, I think, 9 and 2 each. Like, I wouldn't say every year, but to me, the league's as deep as ever. Is that how you guys perceive it, too?
Love it. Like, if you're a competitor, you want your league to be how it is. You don't want, like, you look at the Big Ten, there's 3 guys that are 2-0 already, and there's 3 guys who are 0-2.
Right.
Like, so your system could almost be. Your season can almost be set because of what's happening before Christmas. And the beauty about our league, it's after Christmas, and it's when everybody can pay attention actually, and and get going from there. So I mean, our league's good. We got great coaches and great venues. We know that once the league starts, we know we'll get the support we need to be competitive in the Big 12.
One guy I'm curious about, a team I didn't know would be that good so far would be Oklahoma. Have you got to watch them and watch Trae Young, and how big of a difference has he made for them?
I think the biggest thing for him is he's a ball-dominant dude. You don't get 22 assists without having the ball a lot.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing with him, going on the road and people's venues and seeing if he can have the ball that much to duplicate those same things. You know, I mean, obviously, that kid's made himself a one and done.
Right.
He was already on the verge, like people thinking he might try. I mean, come on, like that dude's doing like special stuff. He's like a mini Steph Curry. He's quick trigger. He can get it off from 30 feet. He doesn't need you to screen for him. He's got moxie. He's got grit, IQ, everything you want in a really good player. I know our guys are like, I mean, if you don't think Cam Stokes doesn't want to play that guy, like, you're crazy. And that's the good thing about this league. They took it on the chin as freshmen, got their heads up to sophomores. Now they're juniors, and they want respect, and I think they're going to surprise me.
And then last thing, you kind of hit on it, but there's been a lot of talk about the crowds. But, you know, non-conference, this is common across college basketball to see crowds like this. You expect and hope, I assume, to see better crowds and better venues when this conference play starts?
No, it's no doubt. It's been the worst since we've been here.
Right.
You know, and I don't understand why we have so many good people come back. And I mean human beings. Like what you got a Kansas kid who's a star.
Yep.
Like and everybody, you know, loves Dean. You know, they should come support him and see him. You know, we got good group. And I think the one thing when you're a fan and you go to message sites and boards and you can't be there, whatever you see, wherever you're going to jump in and be a part of that.
Exactly.
And I think when you just go see yourself or you just watch, it's better than that.
Yep.
And it's just like football. Like so many people jumped off. Now there's a bunch of people going to Phoenix.
Right.
That's the nature of this.
Yep.
But you got to give them credit because they could have cashed it in.
Absolutely.
They worked their tails off. They got to pull a dude out of red shirt.
Yep.
And now he's the next guy. You know what I mean? And nobody even heard of him. Now he's the next great K-State quarterback.
Right.
But that's the beauty of college sports. You got to love your team all the time. You know, and that's. You know, I get caught up. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's my team no matter what.
Yeah, that was a tough week last week.
I mean, I wasn't happy.
No,
you gotta live with it, but you gotta live with it, and that's the part of it. And we have fun with our guys, and they want to play in front of people. And when you got guys crying after Tulsa because they're disappointed because that's the first time we had a chance to play in front of people.
Right.
And it wasn't that we lost. We let people down.
Yeah.
And that people need to know that about our guys, that they weren't just mad we lost. They were upset emotionally because we let a whole bunch of people down who came and paid money to see them play in a venue, in an event that we pretty much dominated. So I think our guys, that's why we couldn't wait to play again.
Yeah.
And we had a week to soak it in and hear how bad we were and the end of the world. And now they came back and played well, and that's what you want your kids to do. You want, anytime you have a kid have a letdown or emotionally become distressed because of a situation, you want to see them rise up and do well and feel confident again.